Hello everybody and welcome to the DailyME episode 8. In today's video, we're going to begin tapping the holes for the grub screws. Let's get going. Right, so in yesterday's video, obviously we pretty much spent the entire time drilling out all of these holes, and we had one complaint from a guy saying this video is quite boring. I literally told you at the start of the video it's going to be repetitive. Welcome to production, my friend. You've got a treat because it's going to be the same for the next 2 days from here on. This tapping is going to take a while. But before I show you that, quick message from today's video sponsor. So firstly, let me show you the problem we're trying to solve here. So most of our wallets probably look like this, stuffed with things that we don't even know we had. Oh, here we go, here's one. Too much rubbish in day-to-day life. You should only be carrying the stuff that you need. And this is where the Ridge wallet comes in. And so you know what it's like when you're searching through your old wallet and you're trying to find that. Literally with the Ridge wallet, it is there waiting for you. And of course, if you're not one for carrying cards, simply shove that in there and you've got the optional cash strap on the back. And the cool thing about this is it comes in a whole host of different colors and materials to suit different tastes. I've personally opted for the titanium matte black because it just looks awesome. But if you would prefer, you can also get it in carbon fiber, aluminium, titanium in a range of different colors. And as for the overall build quality of this thing, it's got a wonderful tactile feel. It's durable, and above all, it looks sleek. And so if you want to join me in the 21st century with less of this sweaty stuff handed over to one another and better security, because this material's RFID blocking, by the way, you can use the link in the description below, ridge.com/Estlea, where you can claim your 10% discount using the coupon code listed below. And so thank you very much to Ridge for sponsoring today's video. Let's get back to it. Let me show you the process in detail. So first I put the thing in the vise, hanging out like that. We then take one of these used drilly-majiggity-bobby things, and that then slots into the end just like that. So then when I tap this and we inevitably get breakout on the inside, I've then got a shim here that you pull out, and then that back edge pulls all the breakout out the slot. And then after that, it's just a series of tapping in some other shims to perhaps bend the breakout the other way and sort of bend it back and forth to break out little chips. Using little files like this really helps. These cost me about £22 each, and I tend to break them every 1 in 25 blade holders, so it can be quite expensive and I've got to be very careful with them, but you probably will see me break one. It's incredibly frustrating when I do. And then as for the taps themselves, I've got 3 tap wrenches pre-set up, and so I've got a taper, a second, and then a plug tap. So then that one starts the hole, that one kind of gets it a little bit more coarse, and then that one bottoms out the thread to allow the grub screw to hit the blade. Now my milling machine does have a tapping function. It's what these green buttons are for here, but I'm a little bit too scared to use it because the hole that we're going to be tapping is blind. And if I drill too far, I tap too far, then there's a risk of snapping the tap in the hole, which I've done plenty of times again. And I just prefer having the control of doing it by hand here rather than with a power fed operation. But if you've got any guidance on how I can do this safely without breaking any taps, please let me know in the comments below, because doing it by hand is a pain. This is also the reason I don't do it with a drill. Instead, I've got a countersink set up in here so that after I've done all the tapping, I then give it a nice little round over on the end to finish it off. And I also don't put any cutting fluid on this either. I tend to just do it dry. The reason is the chips start gathering at the bottom of the hole, and if you do it dry, it's easy enough to unclamp this and just tip them out afterwards. Whereas if you've got a cutting fluid in there, it just ends up bunging them all up and it's really difficult to remove them, because I need to remove those chips after each tapping operation, after I do the taper, the second, and also the plug. And so for lack of a better term, we're going in dry.
Oh dear.
We've got 183 people here at the moment, blimey. Damn, hello everyone. Welcome to Behind the Scenes. Right, so as of now, I have completed 30 of these blade holders and progress has been very, very slow. But as a result of the live chat that is currently going on throughout the day, you guys have very much helped me with the process, and I want to show you through, or talk you through, what has changed and the improvements that have been made. And so we basically ended up putting together this blackboard of a instruction manual for me to work my way through to ensure I didn't miss out any of the processes and ensure that it was efficient and just in a good process. And so, as I explained earlier in the video, the original process was using a taper tap, second tap, and then a plug tap, and then using various other things like blades and blow torches, hammers and shims to basically break out the breakouts inside the slot. But that was proving way too slow, and there was no real process to it. It was just trying, seeing what worked, and usually failing. In addition, what was making it worse was the fact I wasn't using any lubricant for it because I didn't want any of that swarf to bunch up at the bottom of the hole, and I wasn't using a tap properly. I was just kind of constantly turning it without breaking the threads, and it was causing all sorts of stuff to bunch up in there. But I've since changed that, and we'll go through the new process now to show you what's changed. So the first process is to stick in this little thingy in the end, and this will help me break out the breakout inside the slot. And we start with a chamfer. No. Let me empty all that rubbish out, start again. And what we've discovered here is that I don't actually need to use all 3 taps. All I need to do is use the taper tap to start with, and then the second tap. The plug tap doesn't really do a lot. It just causes more breakout on the inside and causes me more time and effort. The reason I can get away with this is because when I drilled the holes in the previous episode, I drilled them past the center slot for the blade, and it basically gave this dead area underneath. And the second tap, although the threads don't cut at the very tip, they kind of cut up far enough to give a thread in this area and then start tapering off below the blade. But that doesn't really matter because the grub screw isn't going down that far. As long as all of this is threaded, which it is using the second tap, I can get away with it. And so I've completely omitted the plug tap from this process, and we're just using the first 2, which is brilliant. So I'm using tough cut metal cutting lubricant for this. Give it a little dip in there, and then we start with that taper tap. So we go in, just get it engaged, and then start breaking that thread, which is what I wasn't doing before, by turning it backwards. And then instead of trying to pick it out with various blades and stuff, you simply use an airline. Blast it in there, get the old holder out, pop the shim back in, and give the second tap a dip, and continue that thread. And now one thing we found with this was when tapping, there was a tendency or something, I don't know really, but either way, the blade holder would pinch itself shut slightly. And so what I want to do is start spreading that out again. And the way I'll do that is by inserting a shim without a hole in it, straight into the blade slot, bottom it out in there, and then tighten a grub screw against that piece of metal to push the jaws apart slightly. Whether this is breaking out any swarf or whatsoever, I don't really know, but it is certainly helping the fit afterwards. And we do our best to get the file in there and clear out any of that excess swarf and get that blade a nice old fit. This can take a while. This is the one that I want to speed up. And then after a few minutes of filing, that should just go straight in. Well, hey, look at that. And so the grand total of today's video is about 38 blade holders. I don't think 50 is too far out the question, but yeah, 38 was all we managed today. My hands are absolutely ruined, but as always, thank you very much for your suggestions and comments throughout the day.
Outro. So in today's episode, Matt learned how important the order of processing is during manufacturing. He also learned that engineers love to share knowledge. The live stream people learned that Matt can be humble and is able to listen.
Lovely, lovely.
There you go.
So that was today's outro from Tim Scott. Thank you very much, Tim. But yeah, like just to reminisce on that, thank you very much for all your suggestions throughout the day, particularly Simon. I can't remember your surname, but you were incredibly helpful throughout the day. So yeah, big shout out to you. We won't be doing a DailyME specifically tomorrow. In fact, instead, we're just going to be doing a live stream throughout the day because otherwise it is literally going to be the same video as the one you've just watched. I'm going to be doing this for the next few days. So make sure to join us for that live stream. We'll catch you then. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do not forget to press the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one.